Assalamualaikum and hi. Today our group will present about corporate ethic and governance, a case study of Petronas. Okay, for the purpose of this report is to evaluate how Petronas manage its ethical, responsibility and governance structure. We will look into what they are doing well, where they are facing challenges and suggest improvement that could help the company strengthen its ethical culture and leadership in the long term. We choose Petronas because it is Malaysian national oil and gas company and plays a significant role both locally and internationally. Its recent legal and reputational issue also make it a relevant case for this analysis.
Assalamualaikum. In this segment, I will briefly explain the history of Petronas. Petronas was established by the Malaysian government to take control of the nation's oils and gas resources from foreign companies. During the early growth and local development, the company quickly built domestic capabilities, forming Petronas Karigali in 1978 for exploration, making its first oil sale in 1975, and developing key infrastructure like the Peninsula Gas Utilization Pipeline and retail station. During its expansion age in the 1990s, Petronas began its international venture with the export of its first LNG and cemented its global presence by building the iconic Petronas Tower, which served as its headquarters and national symbol. Currently, Petronas is a fully integrated global energy and solution company, deeply committed to sustainability and aiming for net zero carbon emission by 2050 through investment in cleaner energy and technology. Moving on, I will be discussing on Petronas mission and core value. First, we have advance society responsibly, referring to provide energy and solution to advance society in a responsible and sustainable way. Maximize resources value, as Petronas is a Malaysian national oil company, so they aim to maximize value from hydrocarbon resources for both Malaysian and global customers. Devise diverse and cleaner energy portfolio, offering include traditional oil, gas, petrochemical with a growing focus on clean energy solution. Net zero by 2050, as they are committed to sustainable practice targeting net zero carbon emission by 2050 to aid lower carbon energy transition. Their shared value or their core value is loyalty, referring to dedicated commitment to Petronas' long-term success and collective responsibility for its well-being, integrity, unwavering honesty, strong ethic, transparency, and trustworthiness in all business interaction, professionalism, continuous pursuit of excellence, high standard in all work and consistent delivery of superior performance, and lastly, cohesiveness, fostering unity, trust, respect, and collaboration among all employees and team to achieve shared goal.
Assalamualaikum to Madam. Today I will present about ethical practice of Petronas. First is Code of Conduct. Petronas has established a comprehensive code of conduct and business ethics that outlines the company's expectation of ethical behavior. The Code of Conduct is a guiding document for all employees, including management, contractors, suppliers, and subsidiaries. It covers essential topics such as anti-corruption, conflict of interest, confidentiality, compliance with the law, and respect in the workplace. The code of conduct and business ethics is widely communicated and integrated into Petronas corporate culture. New employees are required to acknowledge the understand it as part of their onboarding process. The company also reinforces the importance of ethical conduct through internal communication. However, to enhance the effectiveness of code of conduct, Petronas could consider publishing data on reported breaches and the disciplinary action taken. This would demonstrate that the company enforces its ethical policies consistently and transparently. Second is whistleblower policy. Petronas promote transparency and accountability through a clear and structured whistleblower protection policy. This policy allows employees and external parties to report unethical, illegal, or suspicious activity without fear of retaliation. Reports can be made through the Petronas Integrity Hotline, a secure online portal, or by email. The company ensures that the identity of whistleblower remains confidential and that no action is taken against individuals who report in good faith. The policy is aligned with the Whistleblower Protection Act 2010 of Malaysia and demonstrate Petronas' commitment of safeguard integrity. The whistleblower system is an important tool in detecting and addressing unethical behavior. Petronas has made the reporting process accessible and secure. However, its effectiveness could be improved by sharing anonymized statistics about the number of reports received and the outcome of an investigation. This would help build trust in the system and encourage more people to speak up when they witness misconduct. Okay, next is ethics training. Petronas provides mandatory ethics training to all employees to reinforce its ethical standard and help staff understand the code of conduct, business ethics. The training includes topics such as anti-bribery, corruption prevention, conflicts of interest, and responsible workplace behavior. New employees receive ethics training during orientation, while current staff participate in regular refresher courses. Ethics training plays a key role in promoting a culture of integrity at Petronas. It helps employees recognize unethical behavior and equips them with the knowledge to handle difficult situations. However, the company can further improve the training by introducing post-training assessment and feedback form to make sure how well the training content is understood and applied. Regular evaluation can help identify areas for improvement and ensure that the training remains relevant and effective. Last but not least, how well this work ethical practice for Petronas. Petronas has demonstrated a strong commitment to ethical conduct and good governance. Its code of conduct, whistleblower policy, and ethics training program form and solid foundation for promoting transparency, integrity, and accountability across the organization. This initiative contribute to Petronas' reputation as a responsible and trustworthy corporation. However, ethics is an ongoing process that requires continuous improvement to enhance the effectiveness of its ethical framework. Petronas should focus on increasing transparency about reported misconduct, encouraging active participation in the whistleblower program, and regularly evaluation the impact of its ethics training. By strengthening this area, Petronas can continue to lead by example and set a high ethical standard for other companies to follow, just not in Malaysia but throughout the global energy industry. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurina Aiman binti Rustam, and I'll be talking about the corporate governance of Petronas. Firstly, on the board of directors, which are their duties and model. Think of the board like the team that steers a big ship. They work together to set the company's direction and make sure that Petronas hits its goals. But they don't just answer to shareholders, they also look out for employees, customers, suppliers, local communities, and the countries where Petronas operates. Secondly, power separation. To keep things fair and balanced, the chairman and CEO roles are held by different people. For example, Mazuin Ismail is the CEO of Petronas Chemicals Group, while Datuk Sazali Hamza is the chairman. Same with Petronas Gas Berhad, which Abdul Aziz Othman is CEO and Datuk Adif Zulkifli is the chairman. This way, no one has too much power. Next is their responsibility. The chairman leads the board and makes sure that meetings run smoothly. The CEO, on the other hand, handles day-to-day business and works with senior managers to get things done. Furthermore, the board procedures. The board sets out rules to manage risk and makes sure that controls are in place. They also plan ahead for future leaders, improve management, and the board itself. Moreover, the board independence. Some directors are independent, meaning they don't have ties that could affect their decisions. They have to share any possible conflicts before meetings and step out if needed. Lastly is on sustainability and ethics. Petronas has a code of conduct and business ethics that everyone follows. It's all about being professional, loyal, honest, and working together. Plus, there are clear ways to report any issues. Next, I'll be talking about the executive pay. Firstly, the pay structure. Directors get field allowances, monthly fees, and meeting allowances. Fees for non-executive directors go straight to Petronas. Secondly, authorization and disclosure. All payments to directors are approved at the annual general meeting or AGM. For example, from April 2024 to the next AGM, 2.7 million ringgit was approved for non-executive directors and 1.75 million ringgit has been paid so far. And the next limit is 3 million ringgit. Moreover, transparency. Petronas shares yearly reports online show that exactly what non-executive directors are paid. Lastly, senior management. Executive pay that we don't get to see what the exact pay details for the CEO and senior executives, but the approval process is clear and well set up. Lastly, I will talk about conflict of interest. Firstly, role and definition. A conflict of interest happens when someone's personal interests or those of their family or friends clash with Petronas' interests. This includes things like business ties or owning shares in companies that work with Petronas. Secondly, prohibited activities. By using your position or company information to make personal gains is a big no-no. Even trying to influence decisions unfairly is not allowed. Next is disclosure and reconcile. If someone has a conflict, they have to say so. Directors with conflicts do not join discussions or votes on those issues. The board audit committee keeps an eye on this, especially for directors up for re-election. Lastly, mitigation strategies. The board audit committee suggests ways to handle conflicts. Directors must declare their financial interests before meetings, and the independent directors will stay free of any business ties that could affect their decisions.
Okay, next is the legal and reputation issue, which is what happened and management action. First is a legal dispute with Sarawak state government in 2025. Petronas got into some trouble with the Sarawak state government. They were accused of running operation without a proper license under Sarawak own oil law. This created tension between the state and federal government over oil right. To handle this, Petronas took a calm and respectful approach. They made it clear they wanted to follow both federal and state law and open up discussion with Sarawak to solve the licensing issue. The federal government also stepped in to help keep things stable. The second is gas pipeline explosion in Putra Heights, Selangor. This happened in April 2025, there was a serious gas pipeline explosion in Putra Heights. It injured 145 people and caused major damage to homes and cars. It also interrupted the gas supply, raising concern about safety. Petronas responded quickly. They shut down the pipeline, sent out emergency teams, and provide help to the victim, including temporary housing and compensation. They worked with the authorities to investigate what had went wrong and even brought in gas from Thailand to make sure supply wasn't affected for long. After that, they review all their safety procedures to prevent something like this from happening again. And lastly is expropriation of assets in South Sudan. this is in 2024. Petronas faced a tough situation overseas. The South Sudanese government says their oil asset worth about 1 to 5 billion US dollars and stopped a sale that was already in progress. This broke international agreement and caused wrong among global investors. To fight back, Petronas filed an international arbitration case. They teamed up with legal experts and got support from Malaysian government. Their goal was to protect their right and send a strong message, which is Petronas stand firm against unfair treatment of its investment.
Given us some recommendation to improve ethical performance. First, enhance proactive stakeholder engagement and transparency, which means fostering genuine transparency and collaboration, moving beyond just compliance to build deeper trust and prevent conflict before they escalate. Next is improve safety culture beyond compliances, which means going beyond mere regulation to empower every employee to proactively identify and report risks. Next is increase ethical due diligence and risk assessment in international investment, which involve deeper analysis of geopolitical stability and the ethical track record and host entities, ensuring our investment are not only financially sound but also ethically robust. Lastly, we have integrate ethical conduct into performance and reward, as we must formally embed ethical behavior as a key measurable component in our performance review for all employee.
To wrap things up, Petronas is a great example of how a big energy company can build trust and grow by being open, ethical, and focused on sustainability. They have a clear code of conduct, easy ways for people to report concerns, and ethics training that helps create a culture of honesty and responsibility. The transparent board setup and clear rules about conflicts of interest make sure that leadership stays honest and fair. Even with some tough legal and reputation challenges, Petronas shows it's ready to grow, change, and be more open. Because of this, Petronas is in a strong position to lead by example and encourage other companies to raise their ethical standards through better transparency and working closely with stakeholders. The journey isn't over. How Petronas handles future challenges will shape its legacy as a global leader in ethical business.